you're a military veteran and you struggle with your mental health, this video is for you. My name is Melissa. I'm a trauma therapist and a military veteran, and I help veterans on here take back control of their mental health by helping themselves, because not everyone needs to go to therapy and not everyone has access to a high quality therapist. I have illustrated on this whiteboard right here how I approach working with my clients. Every single client is different, but there is a structure on how you can approach each person, and it's universal with every single person. It might look different on each person, but this can be applied to any person who's struggling with mental health and they want to fix it. First things first, everyone is here experiencing cycles, okay? Rather than diagnosing people with all these types of disorders and shit, I like to view everyone as experiencing cycles, and everyone is experiencing unique cycles to them based on what they are here to experience and what they're here to learn. What is a cycle? It's when you look back at your life and you're like, damn, how did this happen again? How did I end up here again? How do I always attract this type of person? Why do I always end up with this kind of job? Why do people always treat me this way? That's a cycle. So it's very predictable and you can track it. If you have strong pattern recognition, which a lot of veterans do, you're going to be great at this. That's the first step. You have to recognize what your cycles are. And we tend to not pay attention to the positive cycles. We tend to put all our energy and focus on the negative ones. And they also tend to blindside us, even though they're so predictable. As you go through certain cycles, so let's say that one of your cycles is you attract crazy bitches, okay? That could be one of your cycles. It's like, I don't know how I always just get the crazy ones, whatever. So what this would look like is it starts at one point, and then maybe a couple years later you get into a relationship and it turns out she's crazy. All right, so then a couple years pass, you stay single and you're like, I'm not dating, that was a horrible breakup. And then eventually you decide to date again and it goes really well in the beginning. She's awesome. You guys get along and you have a lot in common. But then all of a sudden, she kind of looks the same as the other girl. She's bringing up issues that you didn't feel were a problem, or she's just like blindsiding you with information that you didn't know about. Maybe she cheats on you, whatever. Again and again and again throughout your life. And maybe it only happens 3 times. Maybe it happens 10 times in your life. But each time you go through this cycle, you're going to learn more about yourself each time. And this is how people get in, say, like abusive relationships over and over again. This is how it takes people a really long time to actually change when they say they want to change. They're going through these cycles. And when people try to intervene and fix things for them, then they can't actually get to the final lesson learned and climb the ladder of conscious awareness. Each time you go through a loop, you learn more about yourself, you learn more about the world around you, and you're slowly climbing the ladder. You're not going to be on ground level anymore where everything's just happening to you. You're going to start like being able to see it, predict it, recognize red flags. You're going to be able to like kind of zoom out a little bit. So that's what these cycles are, and they're happening for us, believe it or not. Let's go into why you have these cycles to begin with. The way that a cycle even begins is there's a trigger that starts it. There's something that activates you and puts you on guard in some way. This trigger is usually linked back to childhood. It doesn't have to be from some big trauma from childhood. But whatever the trigger is, it's going to do something to your physical body. There's a felt sense that it's going to activate within you. And a lot of times we're so close to the situation, we're just reacting from the felt sense. Say like a drop in your stomach, your heart racing, a burning sensation in your chest. There's these physical sensations that happen so quickly that we are unaware of, or that we're just reacting from. So we don't really take time to notice it. Or if we do take time to notice it, we're quickly trying to make it go away instead of like exploring why we feel like that in the first place. What the felt sense is going to do, our body's going to read that physical sensation and make meaning of it. And this is going to kick our nervous system into high gear. And it's usually going to put us into like a fight or flight, like survival type state. When we're in this survival state, our position on the ladder, where before we could see like the whole scene, we could see above the trees, we could see into the distance, we could see the bigger picture. Well, when our nervous system kicks into high gear and puts us into fight flight, more survival, hypervigilance, we drop to the bottom floor of the ladder. Everything's going to feel close, it's going to feel loud, it's going to feel very intense, and it's all going to be like in your face. And that's what happens when your nervous system goes into fight flight. And then we react from that place, from the survival place. And that's what keeps us in our loops. How the sequence would look in, say, the guy that's with the crazy girl. For him, the trigger might be her saying, "You never talk to me. You never talk to me." And that's instantly is going to create a constraint in his chest. And how the meaning he's going to make of that sensation is, oh fuck, here we go again. It's like an attack. It's like whatever she's saying, this is going to lead to a fight. And so his nervous system is going to start kicking into high gear, survival. And his reaction to this "we never talk" is going to be pulling away. He's going to get quiet. He's going to shut down. Maybe he'll leave the room. Maybe he'll minimize and try to debunk what she's saying by saying like, "What are you talking about? We just spent all night long talking on the couch." The reason that we react so strongly to triggers goes into outdated programs that we're running, meaning when we're children and we experience certain things in our environment that we didn't expect, we make meaning of it. And the way we make meaning of it is very oversimplified because we're kids and we don't have like a full picture of the world. We can't weigh pros and cons. We can't see other people's perspectives, where they might be coming from and stuff like that. So we tend to just be very simple in the way that we program why bad things happen. And we either are going to point the finger out at the world around us, or we're going to point the finger at ourselves. So what I mean by outdated is these programs, how we respond to certain activators in our environment, are from our childhood. They kept us safe in our environment back then, but they're no longer helping us now in the present day and in our current relationships. Because it's really not helpful for this guy to shut down when she brings up like, "You never talk to me." That's actually just going to compound the problem. And you can see that actually kind of confirms what her problem that she's bringing up is. It's like, well, I'm bringing up how I feel, and you literally pulled away and stopped talking to me. Or you try to minimize it and make it sound like what I have to say doesn't matter. And that's not his intentions, but that's what ends up happening. It's a self-sabotage cycle where the way that he protects himself from feeling attacked ends up creating the situation he's trying to avoid. Like, because he's pulling away, that's actually going to increase the likelihood of a fight happening. The reason that this is a problem and why I say it's outdated is because the information that you're holding in the program about why bad things happen, it's false. It's not accurate information about yourself or the world around you. It's oversimplified. It's not fully complete in the way that you view yourself. It's either completely false or it's missing pieces. This refers to who you think you are. So like, I am worthless. I am a failure. I am unlovable. I am all the negative things you can think of. If you're holding a negative belief about yourself in this way, you will experience some really intense and possibly even traumatic loops. Because when you're holding a false identity, like this. Either you're gonna become overly permissive and accommodating, or you're gonna become overly aggressive and approach the world with like this like don't fuck with me kind of attitude, being defensive about every little thing. And either way, on either end of the spectrum, it's not balanced. And you're going to be responding to any given situation in an extreme way, whether you're going to be on the shutdown side or the attack side. What the hell do you do about this? What the solutions are, how you help yourself? Well, first you got to become aware. Awareness is the number one thing that will kind of set you free and give you that sense of control that you're really looking for. When you become aware of your cycles, and even within each of these loops you can track, there's a very predictable response that you have in situations, and you can track it by noticing the trigger, getting curious about why am I triggered about this? What do I feel in my body? That's awareness. That's bringing your awareness. You're becoming the observer and not just the experiencer. Because when you're just the experiencer of your life, all you're going to be doing is reacting from an outdated program. You're never going to get the opportunity to update your program because you're never zooming out and you're never placing yourself in the driver's seat. You're always just, if you imagine someone playing like a video game, and then there's the avatar that's like doing the game. You're always the avatar just doing the game. You're never recognizing that you're actually the player. So that's where the awareness comes in, and zooming out. After that, you can start rewiring and updating your system, updating these outdated programs, these false identity codes or programs that you're running. You can do this through subconscious work. You can do this through somatic work, by releasing old tensions and old emotions that you're holding. There's so many therapies out there that address different elements of this picture. No real wrong way to do it, as long as you are approaching it from a lens of like, okay, I recognize that I have some updating to do and it's time to change. I'm ready for it. I'm gonna approach this with courage, and I'm gonna keep moving forward, and I'm going to keep kind of attacking the actual issue, which is not me, it's these cycles. It's this program that I'm running in the background. That's how you get ahead of it. That's how you start taking control of your mental health. That's how you don't become a statistic.